Welcome, everybody. My name's Colton from Zen2 Capital. Today, I'm here with the CEO of Homerun Resources, Brian Leeners. Brian, thanks for coming on today.
Hey, Colton, good to see you again.
So you had news out of a new team member. Maybe you can talk a bit about his experience and background and what that means for the company.
Yeah, Dr. Moreau, as we call him, because his name's really long, and I don't want to embarrass myself, you hear the word a lot, world class. This dude's world class. So from that perspective, he has an extensive career in materials, metallurgy, and other areas. He fits perfectly into the role that we have for him, which is Chief Technology Officer, as we move from phase one, which is securing supply, to phase two, which is building on infrastructure and processing, to phase three, which is moving into verticals and generating revenue. So he fits into phase two and phase three. In phase two, he'll help with input relative to the processing. And in phase three, he will take his genius and apply it to our raw material. And we will look at building out solutions in a variety of different verticals that we're already targeting. But, I'm Brian Leeners, the business guy. He's Dr. Moreau, genius materials guy.
And so you're building a pretty impressive team, with this new addition. Maybe you can just go over how much that team has grown over the past couple of months now.
Well, the exceptional thing about Brazil is that Brazil has a really high intellectual capacity in a variety of different areas, in particular related to materials. I mean, the history of Brazil is mining and agriculture, generally speaking. So they're very advanced in the mining side and the mining industry and products that come out of the mining industry, advanced materials, et cetera, et cetera. And Dr. Moreau is an example of that, right? Sao Paulo individual, went to the University of Sao Paulo, which is one of the esteemed universities in the world. And so from that perspective, we're lucky to get him. We're adding him to some of the engineering talent, which in some cases will be temporary, some of the business development talent, which will be permanent. And we're just building out the team wherever we recognize that human resources are required, just like we build out the resources in order to get supply. So it's just the evolution of a materials company. And I think what's really interesting is, this news release in particular is really the defining moment where people can realize we're not a resource company, we're a materials and technology company. And the focus of what we're doing is down that path.
Okay, and moving towards a more macro level, there was news articles came out recently that Brazil's president met with Joe Biden to discuss a green plan. Is there any significance of that for Brazil and Homerun as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's good for Brazil. I mean, we all know that the U.S., Biden in particular, are going around the world right now to re-engage with some of their historic partners. That I think some of those relationships have been neglected, and China has moved in order to empower those relationships to the benefit of China. So I think in the Americas, it makes sense for the United States to reach out and secure these relationships. Obviously, the core competency of Brazil is that it has an incredible endowment of every single critical element, no matter whose list you use today. And it has the talent to take those elements and move them into product. And then you've got a large workforce. You've got a relatively low cost workforce in comparison to the United States or Europe or Canada and even Mexico. So I think it's a good step on the part of the United States to secure these relationships within the Americas. But you saw Biden was in India recently doing the exact same thing. So from that perspective, I think it's great for Brazil. Obviously, it's beneficial to the United States as they reshore all of this manufacturing and not necessarily want to get into the basic materials that feed that manufacturing in the United States itself, even though they have those resources. In some cases, when you come to a Canada or Brazil, they have all of those resources. So that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and so moving back to Homerun, I know you're in the midst of a three-phase plan. Maybe you can go into where we're at with that, as well as what we can expect in the next couple months here.
Yeah, phase one, we're just putting a bow on that. Phase two has been initiated. The first element of that is to bring in competent engineering capabilities relative to the infrastructure that we've identified that will be to our benefit. Some of it is partially built, some of it will need to be built. And then also the inputs related to what we want to do. So, we need power, we need energy, we need water, we need human resources, et cetera, et cetera. So from that perspective, that civil engineering company is working on that. And then what we're doing right now is we're in an outreach and just identifying candidates relative to the process engineering, which is the specific engineering to build the upgrade facility that we want to have close to our assets in Brazil, and what we want in that upgrade facility that will benefit us. That will have some input, obviously, from today's announcement. But we've identified an engineering firm that we would like to bring to the table. Hopefully, we'll see that announcement in the next little while on the processing side. And we're also working on some relationships in phase 3, which is taking that product that's upgraded and selling it to customers in a way that suits their use case. But also our fundamental focus is on using our own product because it's precious in our own verticals, in particular within the energy transition space. The solar vertical, the wind turbine vertical, the energy storage verticals. And that's not novel. There's lots of companies doing that. But, if you look through history, industrial revolutions create disruption. And out of that disruption, you create unicorns. So from that perspective, we're in one of those disruptive events right now. And we would like to be one of those resulting unicorns.
Absolutely. Well, it seems like the boxes are being checked off, so we'll be excited to hear more news in the future. But Brian, thanks for coming on, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, Colton. Appreciate it.